Very good evening. Welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. All the big stories from India and across the world coming up ahead. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday asserted that India is performing, reforming, transforming and offering new economic opportunities. He was addressing the inaugural session of the India Global Week 2020 that is being held from the 9th to the 11th of July.
In his address at the India Global Week 2020, Prime Minister Modi said India is playing a leading role in the global revival. He added that this is an India that is adopting a human-centric approach and inclusive approach on development. He also highlighted that India is a powerhouse of talent and a natural reformer that overcomes all kinds of challenges.
I see this closely linked with two factors. The first is Indian talent. World over, you have seen the contribution of India's talent force. Who can forget the Indian tech industry and tech professionals? They have been showing the way for decades. India is a powerhouse of a talent that is eager to contribute.
The Prime Minister underlined that his government was not only focused on improving people's health amid the coronavirus pandemic, but was also paying attention to the economy's health. He maintained that Atmanirbhar Bharat is not about being self-contained or closed off to the world, but all about being self-sustaining and self-generating.
When India talks of revival, it is revival with care, revival with compassion, revival which is sustainable both for the environment and the economy. During the last 6 years, India has made great gains in areas such as total financial inclusion, record housing and infra construction, ease of doing business, bold tax reforms including the GST. Indians have the spirit to achieve what is believed to be impossible. No wonder that in India we are already seeing green shoots when it comes to economic recovery.
The Prime Minister also called India's pharmaceutical industry an asset not just for India but the entire world. India Global Week is a 3-day virtual conference with the theme Be the Revival, India and a Better New World. 250 global speakers will deliver their addresses across 75 sessions at the event.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also interacted with the representatives of Varanasi-based NGOs via video conferencing on Thursday. He praised the organizations that help the needy during the coronavirus crisis.
Speaking with representatives of NGOs in Varanasi to learn about their relief efforts during the coronavirus-induced lockdown, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the central government is working to provide every kind of facility to the needy people during this crisis. He said around 80 crore people will benefit from the schemes to provide not just free ration but also free cylinders.
मेरी काशी, हमारी काशी ने इस अभूतपूर्व संकट का डटकर मुकाबला किया है। आज का ये कार्यक्रम भी तो इसी की एक कड़ी है। कितनी ही बड़ी आपदा क्यों न हो, किसी को काशी के लोगों की जीवटता का कोई मुकाबला नहीं कर सकता।
Prime Minister Modi said many experts questioned India's capabilities to fight the coronavirus pandemic, but they were all proved wrong. Referring to Uttar Pradesh, he said the state government not only stopped the spread of COVID-19, but also kept the recovery rate stable.
कौन क्या कदम उठा रहा है, अस्पतालों की स्थिति क्या है, यहां क्या व्यवस्थाएं की जा रही है, क्वारंटीन को लेकर के क्या हो रहा है, बाहर से आए श्रमिक साथियों के लिए हम कितना प्रबंध कर पा रहे हैं, ये सारी जानकारियां मैं बिल्कुल लगातार लेता रहता था।
The Prime Minister was informed that during the lockdown, more than 100 organizations in Varanasi individually and through the food cell of the district administration distributed almost 20 lakh food packets and 2 lakh dry ration kits. They also distributed masks, sanitizers, among other things. The district administration honored them as Corona warriors.
गायत्री परिवार के लोगों ने 5 भोजनालय का संचालन किया, जिसमें 2 भोजनालय हमारे एक ट्रॉमा सेंटर के लिए खोला गया था और एक कैंसर अस्पताल झुग्गी झोपड़ी कैंट के आसपास के क्षेत्र के लिए खोला गया था। और 3 भोजनालय से हम प्रशासन को, जिला प्रशासन को भोजन के पैकेट उपलब्ध कराते थे। प्रशासन ने बहुत अच्छा सहयोग किया और हमको काम करने में पूरे गायत्री परिवार को, सभी धार्मिक संस्थानों को आत्मीय आनंद की अनुभूति हुई।
गायत्री परिवार के सबको मेरी तरफ से प्रणाम।
राष्ट्रीय रोटी बैंक ने यथासंभव प्रतिदिन भोजन वितरण का कार्य अपने आवास से बना के भोजन जरूरतमंदों में वितरण करती रही। इस कार्य में काशी के बहुत से सम्माननीय लोगों ने भी इसमें सहयोग किया और भोजन बनवाकर राष्ट्रीय रोटी बैंक की टीम को देते रहे।
तमाम संगठनों के लिए, हम सभी के लिए ये बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है कि इस बार गरीबों की सेवा का माध्यम भगवान ने हम सबको बनाया है, विशेषकर आप सबको बनाया है। एक तरह से आप सभी मां अन्नपूर्णा और बाबा विश्वनाथ के दूत बनकर हर जरूरतमंद तक पहुंचे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi said Kashi inspired him with its hope and enthusiasm during the COVID-19 crisis. He also extended wishes for the auspicious month of Sawan. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now an update on the coronavirus situation in our country. And another day of highest single-day spike in cases has pushed India's COVID-19 numbers to over 7.67 lakh. Today is the 7th day in a row with over 20,000 new cases and the first day when the new infections neared 25,000. In a press briefing on the coronavirus situation after a month, the Union Health Ministry on Thursday said that India currently has 5.38 cases per million people, which is among the lowest in the world.
Total confirmed cases of COVID-19 in India have crossed 7,67,296. This number includes active cases, recoveries and also deaths. In the last 24 hours, 24,879 new cases were reported, which is the highest single-day spike in infections. The death toll has increased to 21,129 after 487 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. Over 2,69,000 cases are currently active, while over 4,76,000 people have recovered. India's recovery rate continues to improve and currently stands at 62.08%, 1.75 times the active case. Over 2 lakh samples were tested on Wednesday. More than 1 crore samples of novel coronavirus have been tested so far. Despite being the second most populous country in the world, India has been able to manage COVID-19 relatively well. According to the government, at 538 cases per million people, cases in India are very less as compared to the global average of 1,497 cases per million. The gap between active cases and recovered cases is also steadily increasing.
That in spite of a population of 1.3 billion people, India has been able to manage COVID relatively well. Now, when I say that we have been able to manage this disease, this infection relatively well, what is it that I am implying? What we are trying to explain here is that if you look at cases per million population, it still remains amongst the lowest in the world.
According to the Health Ministry, COVID-19 deaths per million population for India is 15, much lower than other countries. 10% of India's population, which is people aged 60 years and above, account for 53% of COVID-19 deaths. The Health Ministry also clarified that India has not yet reached the community transmission stage, but there have been some localized outbreaks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
90% of active coronavirus cases are concentrated in just a few states. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan on Thursday chaired a high-level group of ministers on COVID-19 to review the situation in these states.
Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Karnataka and Telangana have 90% active COVID-19 cases in the country. A group of ministers taking stock of the COVID-19 situation was also informed that Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal account for 86% deaths caused by the pandemic. 80% deaths are in 32 districts.
90% एक्टिव केसेस हमारे 8 स्टेट्स में है और 80% एक्टिव केसेस देश के सिर्फ 49 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में है। 6 स्टेट्स ऐसी हैं जहां की हमारे जो सारी जितनी भी मृत्यु हुई हैं दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण उनका 86% इन 6 स्टेट्स में है और केवल 32 डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऐसे हैं देश में जहां की 80% जो है टोटल डेथ्स का हुआ है। भारत सरकार हर तरीके से सारे देश को हेल्प कर रही है। हमारी 15 से ज़्यादा टीम्स सारे देश में बड़ी हाई पावर्ड लगातार जा चुकी हैं और इसके अलावा भी कंटिन्यूसली स्टेट्स के साथ लगातार हम लोग टच में हैं। कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी से लेकर और हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री तक हर स्तर पर सारे देश के साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन है।
Maharashtra is still the worst affected state by the COVID-19 virus. Cases have gone above 2.23 lakh. The death toll has gone up to 9,448. A total of 91,000 cases are still active. Cases in Tamil Nadu increased over 1,22,000. The death toll has reached 1,700. The number of active cases stand at 46,483. In Delhi, total cases are around 1,48,000. The death toll is 3,213, while 78,199 people have been cured of the disease. The Madhya Pradesh government decided to enforce a complete lockdown across the state on Sundays. Bihar too has imposed fresh lockdown in several regions, including the worst hit Patna district. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee announced lockdown in containment zones for 7 days starting Thursday. Ganjam district in Odisha has also imposed a 5-day shutdown to carry out health screenings. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now an update on the global coronavirus situation, and the global coronavirus cases crossed 12 million, with the Americas accounting for over half of them. On Wednesday, the United States reported the biggest single-day spike of over 60,000 new coronavirus cases, with total cases crossing 3 million. Over 1,31,800 people have died. However, President Donald Trump is going ahead with the decision to open schools in the fall.
So we're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open, and it's very important. It's very important for our country. It's very important for the well-being of the student and the parents.
Infections have been increasing in at least 42 U.S. states in the last 2 weeks. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio plans to reopen schools with a blended schedule, allowing both classroom and remote learning. Brazil crossed 1.7 million coronavirus cases on Wednesday. Total deaths are close to 70,000. However, many cities are opening up, with bars, restaurants, beauty salons and gyms resuming services. Peru now has over 3,05,700 cases after it lifted lockdown in most areas. Britain announced a £30 million package to tide over the crisis. This includes a jobs retention bonus for furloughed staff worth £9.4 billion. It ensures employers are paid £1,000 after a furlough scheme after October. Every worker who returns to work will be eligible, provided they are kept till the end of January 2021.
We are spending significant sums this year to provide support to our economy through an acute period of disruption. I believe that that's the right thing to do. The cost of not acting that way would have been far higher for our economy in the long term. What we're trying to do is minimise long-term damage, but absolutely over the medium term we will return our public finances to a sustainable place.
Spain's Catalonia made face masks mandatory at all times. The country has reported 28,000 deaths and nearly 270,000 infections. Tokyo had 224 new coronavirus infections on Thursday, a record single-day high. Most cases are linked to nightlife venues, prompting local authorities to ramp up testing capabilities. China on Thursday reported 9 new COVID-19 cases. The country now has over 83,500 positive cases. Meanwhile, China's Sinovac biotech is in its final stage trials of a potential vaccine after promising initial results. Russia is conducting coronavirus vaccine trials on humans since 18th of June. A defense ministry statement said all vaccinated volunteers are doing well. Meanwhile, the United States awarded Novavax Inc. $1.6 billion to cover testing and manufacturing of a coronavirus vaccine. And on to some other news, the Chinese army completed moving back its troops from the face-off sites in Gogra and Hot Springs in eastern Ladakh on Thursday.
According to reports, China's PLA has totally pulled back its troops from Gogra, patrolling point 17. The entire focus now shifts to Pangong Tso area, where there has been thinning out of troops from Finger Area 4. India has been insisting that China must withdraw its forces from areas between Finger 4 and Finger 8. India and China have completed creation of a buffer zone of 3 kilometers in the 3 friction points of Galwan Valley, Gogra and Hot Springs as part of a temporary measure aimed at reducing the possibility of any confrontation. The two armies will also carry out a joint verification in the next few days to assess the implementation of the disengagement process. The fourth round of Corps Commander level talks between the two sides are also likely to take place at the end of this week.
News from Jammu and Kashmir now. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday inaugurated 6 bridges in the border areas of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, 4 of these bridges were constructed on the Akhnur-Palanwala road in Akhnur, while 2 were built on the Tarna Nala in Kathua district. And the total cost of construction of the bridges is 43 crore rupees.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh dedicating to the nation 6 bridges in the border areas of Jammu and Kashmir through video conferencing. Also present on the occasion were Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Narwane, Defence Secretary Ajay Kumar and Director General of Border Roads Organisation Lieutenant General Harpal Singh. The bridges constructed by Border Roads Organisation have been completed in record time. Rajnath Singh said these bridges and roads play a vital role in the socio-economic development of far-flung regions.
जिस दौर में दुनिया दूरी बनाए रखने पर जोर दे रही हो, एक दूसरे से अलग थलग रह रही हो, ऐसे दौर में लोगों को जोड़ने वाले इन पुलों का उद्घाटन करना एक सुखद अनुभव की बात है और इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्य को बड़ी कुशलता के साथ पूरा करने पर मैं बॉर्डर रोड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को अपनी तरफ से हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं।
Rajnath Singh asserted the development of remote areas in the region will continue to be a key priority for the NDA government. He also said, keeping in mind the needs of the people of Jammu and Kashmir and the armed forces, many other development works are also in the pipeline which will be announced in due time.
सीमावर्ती क्षेत्रों में सड़कें न केवल स्ट्रेटेजिक हमारी स्ट्रेंथ हैं, बल्कि दूर दराज के क्षेत्रों को मेन स्ट्रीम से जोड़ने का भी एक महत्वपूर्ण कार्य करती हैं। इस तरह शिक्षा हो या स्वास्थ्य हो या व्यापार हो या खाद्य आपूर्ति, सशस्त्र बलों की स्ट्रेटेजिक आवश्यकता हो या अन्य विकास के काम, ये सभी कनेक्टिविटी से ही संभव हो पाते हैं।
About 1,000 kilometer long roads are currently under construction in Jammu region. The Defence Minister said the government has ensured that sufficient resources are provided to the BRO for the construction of these strategic roads. According to the ministry, the budget for the BRO for 2020-21 is likely to be 11,800 crore rupees. The higher allocation will expedite the construction of strategic roads, bridges and tunnels along our northern borders. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And India on Wednesday said that former naval officer Kulbhushan Jadhav had clearly been coerced into not appealing against his April 2017 conviction. The Indian response came after Pakistan claimed that Jadhav, who was sentenced to death by a Pakistan Army court, refused to file an appeal in the Islamabad High Court. Pakistan's Attorney General Ahmad Irfan claimed that Kulbhushan Jadhav preferred to follow up on his pending mercy petition. India has stated that Jadhav was sentenced through a farcical trial. MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said Pakistan was brazenly trying to scuttle even the inadequate remedy under an ordinance, and that Islamabad had coerced Jadhav to forego his rights to seek implementation of the judgment of the ICJ. He stressed that India will do its utmost to protect Jadhav and ensure his safe return and will consider all appropriate options. Pakistan arrested Jadhav on charges of espionage and terrorism in 2016. In its July 2019 verdict, the ICJ ordered Pakistan to review his death sentence.
पाकिस्तान का दावा कि श्री कुलभूषण जाधव जो कि उनके हिरासत में हैं, उन्होंने समीक्षा याचिका दायर करने से इनकार कर दिया है और ये किस तरह से पिछले 4 सालों से पाकिस्तान के झूठ का हिस्सा है। इस समय हम कानूनी विकल्पों का आकलन कर रहे हैं और हम भारतीय नागरिक की जीवन की रक्षा करने के लिए पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध हैं।
In some other news, the Union Cabinet has approved an agriculture infrastructure fund that can inject credit in farm and farm processing based activities and create job opportunities in the rural areas. The fund was part of the government's 20 lakh crore rupees stimulus measures to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The centre has approved Agriculture Infrastructure Fund with a corpus of 1 lakh crore rupees to extend subsidized credit to farm infrastructure projects. The measure is expected to boost private investment and generate more jobs in rural areas. Stronger rural farm infrastructure is also expected to ensure better prices and reduction in wastage of food by improving processing levels and generating more jobs.
With this launch of this scheme, it will be a central sector scheme of the Ministry of Agriculture, and I am certainly hoping that the farmers will be provided a true value to their product, and this is a big leap in strengthening the farmers in the direction.
Loans will be disbursed in 4 years, starting with 10,000 crore rupees in the current year and 30,000 crore rupees each in the next 3 financial years. All loans will have interest subvention of 3% per annum up to a limit of 2 crore rupees. The funds will be used to set up cold stores and chains, warehousing, silos, assaying, grading and packaging units, e-marketing points linked to e-trading platforms and ripening chambers, besides PPP projects for crop aggregation sponsored by central, state and local bodies.
The Government of India has approved yesterday night a very important scheme that is for Atmanirbhar Bharat, actually Agri-Infra Fund, amounting to rupees 1 lakh crore, where the credit facilities medium term and long term will be provided to agro entrepreneurs that involve the startups, the companies, credit societies. Those are all actually associated with the agriculture post-harvest management. That include the assaying unit, that include the silos, cold storage, chains and all. This will provide a interest subvention of 3% per annum and will be a big boost in the agriculture sector to come.
The Agri-Infra Fund will be managed through an online management information system that will allow qualified entities to apply for loans. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in a move to provide relief to migrant workers during the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has approved a scheme to provide budget rental accommodation for them. The scheme was announced by Finance Minister on the 14th of May to fulfill Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
The Union Cabinet on Wednesday gave its nod to the scheme to provide budget rental accommodation to poor and migrant workers in urban areas. The scheme by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is estimated to benefit more than 3 lakh people. The affordable rental housing complexes come under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Under the scheme, existing vacant government-funded housing complexes across key cities will be converted into affordable rental housing complexes. They will be offered to concessionaires for 25 years to rent out to urban poor and migrant workers. They will be responsible for repairs, retrofits and maintenance of rooms. Concession agreement also includes filling up infrastructure gaps like water, sewer, septic, sanitation, roads, etc. States and union territories will select concessionaire through transparent bidding. Special incentives will be offered to private and public entities to develop affordable rental housing complexes on their own available vacant land for 25 years.
अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग रेंटल स्कीम जो कल सरकार ने कैबिनेट ने अप्रूवल दी है, जो प्रधानमंत्री जो आत्मनिर्भर पैकेज के अनुसार आपके अंदर बनाई गई है, उसमें लगभग जो सुनने में आ रहा है कि 1 से सवा लाख ऐसी घरें हैं जो सरकार द्वारा बनाई जा चुकी हैं और विभिन्न स्कीमों के अंतर्गत इतने सालों में, और जो खाली पड़ी हुई है। इन घरों को प्रवासी मजदूरों को अफोर्डेबल रेंट में, मतलब 1000 से 3000 रुपए के मासिक रेंट में इनको दिया जा सकता है, जिसकी बाकी जो उसका खर्चा है वो सरकार व्यय करेगा।
Affordable rental housing complexes are aimed to create a new ecosystem in urban areas by making affordable housing available for workers close to their place of work. Investment under these complexes is expected to create new job opportunities and speed up economic activities, and also provide the much needed boost to the steel, cement and construction sectors.
Affordable rental housing complexes urban migrants और poor के लिए एक बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल स्कीम है। एज एन इकोनॉमिस्ट मैं कहूंगा कि सरकार ने एक प्रॉब्लम को अच्छे से आइडेंटिफाई करके अंडरस्टैंड किया है और एक बड़ा प्रैक्टिकल सॉल्यूशन देने की सरकार की ये पहल है। देखिए, आज होता क्या है, बहुत से हमारे मजदूर बहन भाई दूर दराज गांव से आके शहरों के आसपास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एरियाज में काम करते हैं, और उनकी सबसे बड़ी समस्या होती है कि जहां वो नौकरी कर रहे हैं वहां उनको रहने की जगह तकलीफ में मिलती है, दिक्कत में मिलती है या बहुत महंगी मिलती है। अब इससे ये प्रॉब्लम उनके रहने की सॉल्व हो जाएगी।
An expenditure of 600 crore rupees has been allocated in the form of Technology Innovation Grant. This will be released for projects using identified innovative technologies for constructions. With inputs from Mohammad Fateh Tipu, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Union HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank on Thursday rejected the claims of a conspiracy in CBSE's decision to reduce the syllabus of schools due to the COVID-19 outbreak.
In a series of messages on Twitter, the HRD minister said there has been an uninformed commentary on the exclusion of certain topics from the CBSE syllabus to portray a false narrative. Referring to comments made by opposition leaders, he said the problem with their remarks is that they resort to sensationalism by connecting topics selectively to portray a false narrative. He further said, while it is easy to misconstrue exclusion of 3 to 4 topics like nationalism, local government, federalism, etc., and build a concocted narrative, a wider perusal of different subjects will show that this exclusion is happening across subjects. He also urged critics to leave politics out of education. Nishank also reiterated that the exclusions from the syllabus are a one-time measure taken in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. To make up for the academic loss due to COVID-19, the Central Board of Secondary Education has rationalized the syllabus for classes 9 to 12 for the 2020-21 session by up to 30%. The decision was taken on the advice and recommendations of various experts and suggestions received from educationists through the Syllabus for Students 2020 campaign.
And that is all in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Good night and take care.